Okay, so today we're diving into something that is, well, it's completely changing how we think about our own DNA. For so long, we've thought of our genes as this fixed blueprint for life, right? But what if I told you that your experiences, your life story, are constantly rewriting those very instructions?
It really all kicks off with a classic puzzle. Think about it. Identical twins share the exact same genetic code, letter for letter. So why is it that one twin can develop a chronic disease while the other stays perfectly healthy? I mean, if our genes were pure destiny, that just shouldn't happen. This one question blows the whole thing wide open and starts a much deeper, way more dynamic story about how our bodies really work.
And this right here, this captures a massive, massive shift in how we see things. The old idea was super deterministic. Your genes are your destiny. End of story. But the new idea? It sees our genes more like an instruction book. And our life experiences can come in and add little notes in the margins, highlighting some parts, maybe scribbling out others.
This quote really gets to the heart of it. Science is moving on from that simple, straight-line thinking. You know, like the old germ theory. One germ causes one disease. We now know that health and sickness are so much more complex. They're all about these networked, interactive systems.
You can really see this change when you look at how our health models have evolved. We started way back with a simple biomedical model focused only on the disease itself. Then, in the 70s, we started adding in things like psychology and social factors. And that brings us right up to today, to a much more complete picture, the Life Course Health Development Framework.
So this new way of thinking sees health not just as a state you're in, like healthy or sick, but as a story that unfolds over your entire life. It's this continuous journey shaped by tons of different factors, from the very beginning to the very end.
Okay, so the Life Course Health Development Framework, we'll just call it LCHD, suggests that health isn't just something we have or something we lose. No, it's something that is actively developed from the moment of conception all the way to death. The key words to remember here are complex interactions. Your health is basically a constant conversation between you and the world around you.
And this leads to a really crucial idea: timing. The LCHD framework argues that there are these sensitive periods in our lives, especially when we're young, where certain experiences can have a huge, outsized impact on our development. The same exact event can have a profoundly different effect on you at age 5 than it would at age 25.
So for example, the kind of nutrition we get as toddlers can literally set the stage for how our metabolism works for the rest of our lives. Or think about this: severe stress during certain key windows of development can actually change the physical structure of the brain. The timing of our experiences really does change their biological consequences. It's incredible.
Okay, so this all leads us to the million-dollar question, right? We have this really compelling idea that our life story shapes our health. But what's the actual physical thing that makes that happen? How does a life experience translate into a biological reality?
Let's just ask the question straight up. How does something like your diet, or your stress levels, or the people you hang out with, how does that stuff get under the skin and actually have a conversation with your fundamental genetic code? Well, the answer lies in a field that has just exploded in recent years.
And the answer is epigenetics. The name itself gives us a huge clue. Epi is Greek for above or on top of, so it's like this second layer of information that sits right on top of our DNA sequence. It doesn't change the actual letters in our genetic book, but it controls which chapters get read, when they get read, and how loudly.
Honestly, the best way to wrap your head around this is with a metaphor. Think of your DNA, your genes, as a computer's hardware. It's powerful, but it's fixed. Epigenetics, that's the software that tells all that hardware what to do. And here's the kicker: our life experiences are constantly updating that software.
So here's how it works, in a nutshell. First, an experience happens. Could be what you eat, the stress you're under, your social life. In response, your body attaches these tiny chemical tags to your DNA. You can think of them like little sticky notes, or maybe volume dials. These tags then tell that specific gene to get more active, less active, or just shut off completely. They alter its expression.
So now let's connect all the dots. We have this big picture framework, Life Course Health Development, and we have this amazing biological mechanism, epigenetics. When you put them together, they tell a completely new story of what health really is.
This is where it all just clicks into place. Epigenetics is the missing piece of the puzzle that scientists were looking for. The LCHD framework always theorized that our life's journey shapes our health. Well, epigenetics shows us exactly how that happens, right down at the molecular level. It's the biological proof that our experiences literally get embedded into our biology. And this leads us to the ultimate takeaway, the big one. That century-old debate of nature versus nurture, it's over. It was never a competition to begin with. The new way of seeing it is nature via nurture. Our experiences don't fight our genes, they work through our genes, using these epigenetic tools to shape who we become.
Now, this is not just some fascinating science experiment. It has profound real-world implications for how we live our lives, how we raise our kids, and even how we structure our society. So let's break down what this new understanding really means for you.
All right, so here are the key things to walk away with. First, health is an active process, not something you just inherit. Second, those early years really matter. They cast a long biological shadow through these epigenetic marks. Third, our social worlds aren't separate from our biology. They directly talk to it. And finally, and this is maybe the most important part, this knowledge gives us agency. We are not just victims of our genes. We are active participants in our own health story.
So I'll leave you with this thought. If our own life story helps to write our biology, that hands us a pretty powerful responsibility, doesn't it? It means the environments we create, the support we give each other, and the policies we put in place are all helping to write the biological story of the next generation. What kind of story do we want that to be?